How many bags do you think are under my eyes right now? Listen to what I say and not what I do. How to be pretty on YouTube? That is the question. YouTube is might be our only 15 minutes of fame, people. So you might as well look your best. Now, I'm not an expert in anything, let alone beauty tips. But there's one thing that let's see if I can even make this even remotely look good. Where's my coffee? You don't need a script to look good on YouTube. You can say crazy things. Hello, Pischiavello. You can say crazy things on YouTube. You don't have to tell the truth on YouTube. But there are things one can do to make your YouTube experience easier on the eyes of your viewers. Pischiavello, normally I would invite in, but I want to have this just be about my face right now. So Pischiavello, hold on. So anyway, this is one of the things that I've noticed quite a while with drawing people who are posing for me on YouTube or Skype, or take pictures of themselves for me to draw, or when I do one-on-one YouTubes with using Skype, I try to be aware of certain things, and I'll illustrate these things on a piece of paper first. But right now, the camera is right there, and right over there, just 20 degrees off that way, is the light bulb of the computer screen. So let me show the magic of something. This is magical. So get ready, abracadabra. If I were to mount the camera over here, of course I can't see what I'm doing, but can I look real fast? Yes. Well, I can't look that fast to see my thing move, but if the light is coming from the side of your face, rather from this way, see, this is what I would look like here. This is what I would look like if I was on an autopsy table. Light's coming straight down. It's very flattering, as you can see. I'm a little gray. I mean, I'm not talking about my hair. I'm talking about my beautiful face. This is about as unflattering an image broadcast to the entire world as can possibly be, because I'm looking at a 18 by 12 inch light bulb, a blue light bulb. God damn it. Stay. But if I'm over here, the blue light bulb is sort of casting its glow, its cool glow on only side of my face. So only this side of my face looks dead. The rest of it sort of looks like it might be alive. Now, the idea is that this lighting from the side, or for 3/4, or more like that, think of myself as a moon, the man in the moon. I'm waxing and waning. Full moons are really boring. And the crescent moon and this half moon, those are more interesting both for us to look at and astronomers to look at, because the shadows cast add drama and interest and everything. So if there's a way for you, dear viewer, to have your lighting be stronger from the side somehow than the light bulb of the camera, than the computer screen, that would be great. That's one thing. Another thing that I try to do, I'm going to illustrate this way with my, can I illustrate it a different way? I could if I had planned. If I had planned this out better, I could illustrate it better. But imagine I'm talking to 3 people. And soon I'll be talking to maybe 3 people. But if my face will represent the other 2. Oops, if I can figure out how to make this work. So the screen is divided into thirds when there's 3 people. And if the faces, if you position yourselves so that your heads are all kind of the same distance from the camera, you don't have someone like this, with just their nose showing, because this live stream thing crops it the way they want to. I don't have any control over it. So try to position yourself. I'm moving in front and behind sometimes when I'm talking with people, so that I can, so I don't seem like I'm a huge monster. So that helps. If you wanted to be really fancy, I could say to my people that are talking with me that, can you have it so all of the light is coming from your left? Well, that's sometimes asking a lot of someone, and sometimes dyslexia kicks in either in their head or in my head, or the StreamYard's head, or YouTube's head, where left it's reversed, and what do you mean, my left or your left or whatever? That's asking a lot. But if there was a way to sort of reduce the autopsy, cadaverous look of that to be more like that, it's actually nice. And also look at my background. The background of my studio at the best of times is pretty dark. But if you're in a house or a studio or whatever, and your house is really, really light, that adds more light to the screen, and it makes each of our light bulbs bigger. And the whole thing, if I could make the background of StreamYard's interface here, if I could make that black, the amount of cadaverousness light would be halved or more. So I know that we don't live in we don't have the ability or live in a sound stage, but there are little things one can do to help it work. So on that note, do I invite people in? Pisciavello, am I frightening you? You don't have to go running around looking for different lights. It's perfectly fine. It was just, I've noticed one, your Pisciavello's, who I will invite in shortly if he's still in the room, if he's still talking to me, his head is far enough away from the camera that it's really a good, it's sort of this size to the camera, and I'm not scaring him. And it's especially nice because when we press Parker's buttons, which we often like to do, he does this with his head. His head starts to implode, and I like the fact that we can see him do that. If he was this close and his head started imploding, we wouldn't see that. So he has a good sense of, and I don't know whether it's actually intentional on his part or if it's just where his computer screen is. That's how that works. So we will see him come in 1 second if he wants to. And you can see for yourself. But I'm just trying to say, and again, don't do what I'm doing now. If there's a way to do this, to have this sort of, oops, you be in the picture. If you're able to do this and know that you're on camera, you're in the middle of the frame and things like that, this sort of lighting is much better. And sometimes if it's just you and someone else talking, you don't actually need to look at the computer screen all that much, maybe. Here I'm looking at the computer screen. P. Schiavello is saying he is an expert. What? How could I have doubted you, P. Schiavello? He didn't use the word expert, but he did say he did major cinematography. And lighting is crucial. Yes, lighting is crucial. And we're not, Orson Welles making Citizen Kane here. We're talking about goddamn fountain pens. I mean, in a way, we're half dead already. That's what we're interested in. No, I'm entirely joking. Fountain pens are essential things to talk about on YouTube. So, on that note, let's invite P. Schiavello in. We'll start with P. Schiavello. Joshua, I see you're in the room, and got 10 or 12 lights. That's like 11 more than you need. Lighting is crucial, but I prefer not as. Oh, he's not dressed yet. He has to go to his dressing room and get his makeup on. Now, somewhere before I started this rant, and again, right now I'm doing exactly what I told you not to do. But at this point, I'm trying to read what people are saying. The problem, as I had mentioned many times already, and I'll mention again, is a good half my screen, more than half my screen, is a white light bulb. And yes, P. Schiavello says that's his job. P. Schiavello is when he's in my chat and we're having a group chat, he's in charge of reading what people say in the chat. He's like a teleprompter machine out loud. He reads whatever anyone says. He'll let us know, which sometimes it's good to read everything everyone says. I mean, he's somewhat selective. He doesn't need to do, he doesn't necessarily need to add all the LOLs and things like that. But emoticons, but he's good at reminding me of people's comments that are important to the conversation, that the actual heads are saying, the audience's comments. I thought you were getting dressed. And he's still reading the comments or making comments. But anyway, I just it's just one little tiny thing that you might be aware of as you're deciding how many lights are too many. Now, the problem also, I mean, look at, I've just made myself even look worse. Is this going to make me look better? I mean, I've got all sorts of different lights here that I use, not when I'm streaming, but when I'm actually trying to do work. So I have all sorts of weird lights. Some are very blue, some are yellow, some are very yellow. And I go from jaundice to cadaverous within seconds. But I just think that if you do have some control over what you look like, and if you see yourself looking very gray and flat, see if there's a way for you to make yourself look less gray and more round. And this is, again, exactly wrong, what you're seeing right here. Send me the link, sir, says, okay, this is, with my particular setup, I have to just show you what I have to do when I have to send links to people. And the way this would be really easy if I didn't have a camera that I'm aiming down to my desk. And I can do the same conversation can happen when we're dealing with the desk. So let me just, or a camera pointing down. The lighting is important there too. So I'm moving this down. This is kind of how my camera aims, and you see it's not aiming straight down, it's aiming across. Here I'm way in the distance, and I move my little hand over here. So there's a little bit of drama there. I don't need it. I can turn this light off, and I can turn this light on, lighter. So there are things I can do to make this interesting looking too, and somewhat easier to watch than if it was all just white. But this is what I have to do when someone wants to join my room. I have to move this out of the way so that my Wacom pen can figure out how to get my cursor over to the little add. How do I even do that? Invite, which is there. Then I copy to clipboard, and it's copied, and I set it down here. And then I do this, edit, paste, command paste. And I know I could, use Option V for pasting, Control V, but then I have to find my keyboard, which is not easy, not any easier. So there's the link. So now let's go back to my screen. Oh, see, then I have to move this out of the way. And once he starts his camera, then I have to add him. So there's a lot of this kind of crap going on, and I tried to figure out a way to make this easier this is my Wacom Cintiq, and there's Schiavello.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I am fine, and I'm about, oh, you can see him too. This is where my brain doesn't always work. So you notice what just happened when Schiavello joined me. I suddenly lost half my weight. I'm not nearly as fat as I used to be within a second. So half of my screen was reduced.
You look fun.
But because Schiavello himself is so slender and svelte, he makes me look fatter, even without taking up half my screen. He's shaking his head. Well, you can see he's shaking his head. So now just look at Schiavello's screen. I'm not trying to diss other people who have been doing this for a while, but look at his screen. He does have there's a lot of light hitting him. You can see that by the two lights in the background and all of those twinkly lights of his Christmas.
Well, there's 4 in the background,
Yeah, okay.
4 in front of me. There's 1 there, so that's 9, and then I've got 2 others as well.
Well, he has 11 lights going on, but
And
they're
then I've
not.
got this tree.
And the Christmas tree, but they're not all the night. The important thing is they're not all in front of him going like this.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And when they go like that, you're under the autopsy table. You're on the autopsy table to try to figure out how you died. So we don't want you to look like that. We want you to look lively and fresh.
Yes.
And so now what I'm going to do is I'm still trying to find my coffee. And I think I have as many lights as you do, but each one of my lights gives out 1 photon an hour. So there's, except for the computer screen. Now I have to remember, this pen that I'm using, that I'm trying to find right now, is the one that I use on my computer. Or as Schiavello might say, computer.
Your computer?
A computer.
That's how I say it. Computer.
I know. That's why I said, as P. Schiavello says, the computer.
I'm already getting picked on.
Look, you're drinking a coffee out of your mug in the same way as it's kind of as Russell.
Like this?
Like that, yeah. Russell. Except Russell does it like that without using the handle. He has the handle pointing in a different direction. So yeah, that's like that. That's how, when you're watching an epic of the Robe or the 10 Commandments or the greatest story ever told, that's how the disciples get the chalice from Christ and they bring it to their face so they can have another swig of wine.
Right.
If they're not drunk enough yet.
Well, we'll see. I'm not drinking coffee. I've just got water. That's all I've got.
He's got water in there.
Like I only drink water, and sometimes I will drink Sprite, but very rarely.
Sprite. That's such a I don't know. Sprite seems like one of those. I don't know. I guess when I was a kid, we had something called Bubble Up, which was kind of like a poor man's 7-Up, and Sprite always seems sort of like a poor man's 7-Up. But so, how's Schiavello today? How's life down there?
I'm well. My laryngitis is getting worse, but because I've been talking for 4 hours at a time, on and off, like with you, Pierre.
Oh yes.
Like I have nodules on my vocal cords, and so they get tired and they exhaust, and so. But yeah, I'm doing well, and everyone's well. The kids happy. I'm happy. Well,
I'm glad that both you are happy and your nodules are allowing you to talk just a little bit.
Well, yeah, they're quite sore, but that's okay.
So on your camera, on your computer, we'll just talk about this lighting business. Right now, your camera is fixed to the lid of the laptop, correct?
Correct, yes.
And so people whose camera they're using is fixed to the top of the light bulb they're looking into, there's really nothing you can do about that.
Yes.
There could be a way of maybe masking a big section of here's your computer screen right here, let's say. There might be a way of getting a piece of dark cardboard or something and cut out the part that you want to see, the quarter of the screen that actually has the broadcast, and that will reduce the light bulb from you pretty well, and it'll make you slightly less deer in the headlights look.
Yeah.
So that's one way to do it. I'd show it. Huh?
I mean, that's one way to do it, but I'm actually using like my laptop's like brightness to light me up as one of my light bulbs.
One of your many light bulbs. I know that, but if people are just using their screen,
yes,
then their camera, unfortunately, their camera thinks for some reason that you want to be seen as much as possible. So the camera might change its aperture or its whatever to make you look light. So there is some things one can do, and there's some things maybe one can't do. Now, again, Schiavello, in his broadcasts here, he's illuminated his whole house in such a way that his face appears rounder and not as flat as this. That's flat. So we don't want flat. We want round-ish dimension. So if there's anything you just practice, huh?
Is my face looking round?
Round. It doesn't look flat.
Okay.
That's different than you're not a complete sphere, Schiavello. You have your chiseled features.
Thank you.
And you've got your see, if you look at Schiavello right now, just look at the computer without causing your face to move around too much in disbelief. Don't shake your head and have a little brain aneurysm on me now, but if you look, the light is coming from the side. So this is what I look like. This is all dark and this is all light. I'm not going to draw the dark in. I'm just going to, there we are. But Schiavello, now with the light coming from, there's a large light source coming from this way, so his face is divided in his manly chest. We have to draw the chest. I'm not drawing the chest to show the chest, but I'm just showing that there's these shadows that are cast, on his face to make the face look more round. And then you've got his mysterious eyes, and you've got his, I don't know if it's an Errol, it's sort of like an Errol, it's an Errol Flynn mustache going on there. A little bit of a goatee from one of Errol Flynn's period pieces. He's playing the Duke of Essex. You've got that little thing and a mustache going on. You need to wear a nice ruffly shirt there. Go put on that wedding dress that you've got in the closet, and then you'll have that look.
What? Yeah, I don't have a wedding dress in my closet.
I'm just making a joke.
Or do I?
Or do you have a wedding dress? But you see, because of the light hitting just part of his face, the other part of the face it's not in shadow. Shadow and shade are different. His face is shaded. This here, that's a shadow of his head, his chin and his head. Shade and shadow are two different things. But anyway, there's highlights and there's dark areas, and that looks good. I'm out of ink. I've run out of ink. My enthusiasm has caused my pen to run dry. So this is good. So Schiavelli, va bene.
Schiavello, not Valley.
Schiavello. Yes, there's only one of you. there was the entire Schiavello family there, it would be the Schiavellis, more or less. So anyway, that's the here endeth the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Lighting is important.
Crucial.
Okay, how to look pretty? Study Schiavello, copy him, and you'll look as beautiful as he does.
Just don't scrimp on the lighting, people.
Don't scrimp on the lighting. See, you're different than me, though. The effect is attempting to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer to use fewer lights. I'm happy with one light bulb plus the computer screen, which is a given. Schiavello battles light with light. If he turned all of his lights off, except for the computer screen, he'd look as awful as I look right now, right? But he battles light with light. He has those photons canceling each other out. God, this is awful. This lighting. Here, let me aim it back down.
I also have backlighting as well, and that's very crucial as well.
Well, that's the thing that's where I missed that class. I could understand it in some ways, but I tend to like the Caravaggio look, where the background of the canvas is completely black, and you see the one candlelight illuminating the face of the money changers or whatever he's taking. We need Russell here to tell us what the pictures are called. Mm-hmm. And Joshua is talking about the lighting in his room as well. You've got a lot of light hitting you there, Joshua. And your camera also is very interesting. It looks like it's not quite a mile away, but it looks often very far away. And I know you have it set up to do the streaming that you do, which is different than what we're doing. But I also like, when I aim the camera down, which is what many of us do when we're talking about pens or drawing or calligraphy, it's important to sort of do the same thing that I was just talking about, where you don't want the shadows to obscure what you're drawing. For example, if I was left-handed, and if I had the camera aiming where I wanted to aim, you don't want to have the lighting be like this, where it's blocking you out. But lighting, when you're actually showing how a pen is working, lighting that's coming straight down is not necessarily what you want, because it's going to, again, look the same flat that it looked when I'm doing it with my face. So play around with lighting. Naturally, if you want it to look really good for you and for us, have the lighting come from the same direction it would be if you weren't broadcasting. You want the light, if you're right-handed, you want the light to sort of come from the top left-hand side. But I have it coming from the bottom left-hand side because if it was coming from the top left-hand side, the glare in the camera would get screwed up. So it's fun to play with lighting, as I'm sure Schiavello will tell you.
It is so fun.
But you also don't want the lighting to look like you're telling a ghost story some people have their laptop is below them and the light is coming up and hitting them on their chins, or chin if they're svelte. They hit my chins, but on Schiavello, there's only one chin it hits. So anyway, lighting is important. Schiavello and I agree. And if there's a way to make your face look less flat and less much like you're looking out the window when an atomic bomb blows off. That would be good. You don't want it saturated. And look at what happens with my shadows here. This is drama. This is just right out of Hammer Films Dracula.
I don't know if it's worse than Russell's
Marionettes. You find this just as creepy? With all of the exciting life you lead, just to get to where you are at your young age, I would think a little shadow cast by a 64-year-old man on the other side of the planet would not frighten you.
I honestly didn't know that you were 64.
I'm 64.
I had no clue. I honestly thought you were in your early 50s.
Well, it's the fact that I never go outside helps. I don't have the wrinkles that one associates with older people because I rarely smile, so my face doesn't have the this kind of wrinkles. I don't have all of the wrinkles up here because I don't think that much usually. And so wrinkles, anyway, and I don't smoke.
I don't smoke.
So, wrinkle away. No, I'm 64 there, Schiavello.
Well, you're very handsome, I must say.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
And Joshua Schroeder says 64 and still sexy.
And still sexy. Okay, I'm going to get more coffee. I'll be right back. Schroeder, would you like to join us? Now that you have the rules for lighting, and you don't have to implement the rules, but anyway, I'll be back in a minute.
Okie dokie. Yeah, Joshua says sure. So if Joshua just clicks on the link that Pierre sent, it will have you waiting for him to accept. But Pierre has to come back and accept you. And it's, yeah, I can't do much. Apologies. 3 people watching. Oh, we got a packed out crowd. I have a feeling that Afextanol is lurking. Maybe. Oh, it's actually quite early though. It's almost 6 a.m. in Boston. Holy gosh. But yes. I don't know. Maybe, Joshua, you can chat with me in the chat until Pierre comes back. I feel like I'm just talking to myself. Oh, Pierre.
I'm back. So he wants to join us, so let me put these pens here. And let me move this out of the way so I can add him. Do you see the, no, I guess you don't see the link anymore. Copy clipboard, copied, edit, paste, edit, paste. I was talking last night after I stopped my stream and sat down on the couch and did a little bit of moving some stuff and sat down on the couch. I texted Affectional at some time, and we were talking about what it is about the streams that we like and what things we can do to maybe make them a little bit better. Some of the times we both, and I think all of us, like the sort of free form unplannedness of people coming and going and subjects going back and forth, as if all of us were in a sitting outside at a cafe gossiping about things we know and people we know, and then we get new people moving in, and we have to change our conversation to be inclusive of the new people.
Yes.
Which sometimes we do well, sometimes we don't. I think Kesh was a little, "I'm still here, people," he said. Okay, so anyway, I'm trying to figure out, that's good lighting. Your head is the same size as, that's another thing I like, is where all of the heads are kind of the same size. So that's good. And you've got the pink and green thing going on here well, and we've got the burgundy gray and beige going on with the Chiavello. So I'm going to put my thing back here. So anyway, it's there are going to be some streams that are going to be similar to what we're doing now, where we're just yammering away and we know each other and we're gossiping and talking about whatever we want to. And then there may be other streams where I'm going to specifically make sure that maybe 2 or 3 people are joining me to discuss a particular kind of thing, whether it be journaling or calligraphy or drawing or pen repair, or I don't know what it might be. And then other people can watch and participate in the chat, but I'm not going to automatically invite them in to be on the screen, because then our little pictures get too small. So there might be a little tiny bit more directorial stuff going on in the future on some of these. So, but as long as we're sort of just chatting and yammering, we can have 6 or 8 people in here, and it'll be fine. It just might not be that interesting to watch visually because there's way too many little tiny screens going on. So on that note, Joshua, you've changed your name.
Well, okay. Yes, sort of.
Okay, good.
Everybody I know knows me as Tasha, but anyways, I just keep it simple for you because that's what you know me as Joshua. So
okay,
we're good.
You can be whoever you want to be. You can change your name.
I mean, even my stream, everyone knows me as my stream. Everybody knows me as Tasha Prime. So anyways,
okay, cool.
That's the thing.
And your Tink something. What's the rest of your?
That is my okay. Oh, there you go.
There you go. Oh, Tinkerbell. Tink.
That's my Tinkerbell.
Okay, good.
How cute.
So very good. Well, thank you, Joshua, or Tasha, or Tink. Thank you for joining us. I'm just going to be drinking my coffee and testing out some pens.
I haven't even gotten coffee or tea or anything yet
in this area, so I'm trying to try out the pen and see how I would categorize this. This is fine. I call this accountant. And this is where I'm going to put it in the accountant department. Just because. Okay, so what else can you tell me? Either one of you.
I have an Instagram now.
Oh, you're an Instagrammer. And
What-
I sent you the links to Russell and to Affextinol. Yeah. You have both my accounts, my
Yes,
G-rated one, the one that I show at church, and then the one that I show to other people when we're not at church.
I like I woke up from my nap, and I had all these. No, I think it was this morning. I don't know. Just everything just blends together on weekends.
Yeah.
And stuff. But I woke up and Mr. Schroeder had followed me.
Yeah.
Sinal followed me. That adorable little bunch of joy. Russell joined me.
Oh,
Followed
good.
me.
Well,
And-
he is going to be in charge of doing your landscaping at the family manse, and when
Yeah.
you build it in Virginia, so.
Yeah, it's like I'm hoping to get 100 acres of property in West Virginia. So
Is there 100 acres that are all put together in West Virginia? I don't know. Seems like an awful lot in a eastern state.
well, it's more of like a countryside. What's the town? I've gone blank.
Okay.
West Virginia. Harper's Ferry.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Do you know where that is?
That's what happened in Harper's Ferry? Something.
The trains came off the rails. I know that.
At Harper's Ferry. Okay.
Yeah, but Harper's Ferry is very very countryside.
Okay.
Very, I wouldn't say rural, but it's rural enough to be able to get that much land.
Okay. Oh, good.
And then I will build a house on that and start popping out kids.
Okay. Now, I don't mean to ask this, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Okay, good guy.
I'm going to ask it anyway. This desire to populate, bring forth and multiply. What is the driving force there?
For me, wanting to have more children.
You want to have more children. Why do you want to have more children?
So I've always wanted to be a dad. And I've got my 15-year-old. I was very young. I was 13 when I became a single dad, and that was when he was born. And so I want to be able to have, I want more kids in general, but I want to be able to not struggle, and I want to be able to be an adult, an adult this time, and be a better father than I was, because I was growing up while my child was growing up with me.
Yeah.
So it was very difficult, and then becoming like I said, single father, and there was a lot of hiccups along the way, which isn't appropriate for the internet to know. And yeah, I want another shot at it.
Okay.
Where I can be the father. I can be 100% the father I want to be, and not have to practically drag myself out of a dark hole while raising a child when I was a child.
Okay.
So,
Good.
But yeah, I've always wanted more children, and I have tried. In 2020, I tried uh, yes, 2020 I tried, and I had a surrogate, and we got to 5 months, and they were stillborn. So they were twins, and so I was going to do it as like a single dad again, but we miscarried. So I'm a bit reluctant to try again for quite some time, but I do want to have more children, potentially, up to 5 more.
Wow.
Where did Pia go?
That's what I want to know. Pierre disappeared totally.
Okay.
And see, I'm on the exact opposite of that. I want no kids. I mean, kids are great as long as they're somebody else's.
Because you can get them back.
But I want none.
Okay.
I've never wanted any kids. I mean, every once in a while I regret that decision, but kids are great. Just don't need my own. We're good.
Would you adopt, or you just don't want kids? Full
I
stop?
just don't want kids. Period.
Okay.
I have friends that have kids, and I'm around that every once in a while, and I've seen this world at its best and at its worst. In my growing up affects me, my desire for children a lot. So I made a decision when I was probably, I don't know, I was probably a teenager still, and I was like, I just don't want kids. No, actually, was I a teenager still? Yes, I was. I was 19 when I was engaged to Shelly, and she got killed in a hit and run by a drunk driver who never got caught. Well, they did get caught like a year later, but
I'm sorry.
yeah, they totaled his car, totaled her car, killed her instantly. Luckily, not a scratch on her daughter. Not my child, but yeah, and it's okay. It is what it is.
Yes.
Life happens, but yeah, we're good.
But I understand. There's some people that don't want kids, there's some that do.
And it's okay. It's like I don't want to have that conversation with my 4-year-old about, Daddy, why are you married to a husband? All my other friends are married to mothers.
Yes.
I'm just like, I don't want that. I don't care. I'm like, whatever. There's a lot of other, but we're good. We're just not doing kiddos.
Yeah, I completely understand, and I went through that myself, and I moved him from I think 7 different schools, and homeschooled him as well, just due to the bullying of it, and even teachers, like the faculty, would bully him, and that was when I was with my partner, married, and be like, well, you have 2 dads,
Whatever.
And then they would say, well, this is going to sound awful, you're a poop baby.
Yeah. It's like, no, believe me, I've heard all the, it's fine. But, I'm just like, I didn't want a child to have to go through that. For the last 30 years, 30 plus years. I've lived in the southern United States. And yeah, being gay and transgender in the southern United States, it's more acceptable now. It's
Mhm.
okay. But 30 years ago, as bad as it sounds, that'd get you lynched.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. I just got a text message from Pierre. Sorry to interrupt. I really apologize.
Okay.
Pierre says on again, I think, and he started a new stream. So
Okay.
I think we should leave and then go to the new stream.
Okay.
All right. I'll see you soon.